One of the programs that will really help you this year, I feel, is a program called Microsoft OneNote. It's going to allow you to quickly and easily organize your ideas and research into a single point, rather than making a whole bunch of different files and folders all through your K drive, which could be unrelated. And I'd just like to show you a couple of quick tricks and tips for working with this program. So once you go and find it under the Microsoft Office option, there'll be a little link for OneNote, which you can bring up. Some relatively new product, but I just want to show you some of the basic features for organising things. So when you look at the interface here, we've got these tabs across the top here, and to begin with, it does actually have a whole bunch of different ideas on how you can use this particular program. So I won't talk too much about it, but if you're wanting to get the most out of this program, there's some really good ideas through here, as well as some additional tabs on drawing. So the way I see it working is that you'd go about starting a new page, and we might want to begin our topic to do with hardware. So if we're working on hardware and we're wanting to get some ideas together on hardware which are needed to make a computer, and obviously we're wanting to try and tie this in with some research from the net. So we can give it a bit of a title here, and basically we can click anywhere on the screen, and we're just going to start a new bubble or window, and we can basically organise ideas and move things around the page and keep it in quite a free format, unstructured way for our ideas, which we can bring together at the end for our reports or things that have to be handed in for assignments or assessments. But at the same time, we are structuring them in a general sense by having things on a basic page, or we can have them within a particular notebook, they call them. So for instance, I could have all my IT work in one notebook, I could have all my maths stuff in another notebook, and inside of each of those I could have a whole bunch of other tabs which I can colour code up and use if I needed. So I'm just going to go back now to my first one that I had, and I might go about renaming this particular section so I know what it's all about when I come across back to this page. Okay, so this one's all about hardware, and I'm just going to jump onto the net now and find some information. Here's a few pictures that I've found already when I just plugged in hardware. Let's maybe be a bit more specific about this, and let's maybe look for a CD-ROM drive. Okay, so when we bring up a CD-ROM drive, we've got a description or a picture showing what the actual drive looks like, and then an image of what the media looks like inside that drive. So one might think this is the best picture ever. It's of a suitable file size that I'm happy with. I'm going to open that to be full size, and I'm thinking I'm pretty happy with that. Now, one of the things I can do once the program is organised is I can push the Windows icon in between the Function and Alt button, and then push S at the same time, and it will allow me to do something called a screen clipping. Now, this is better than a print screen in that the fact that I can actually highlight or select the information that I want, rather than having to take into another program and then having to chop things or crop things down. Now, the first time I will use this situation is it's going to want me to say where do I want to save it all. Now obviously there's a few notebooks up and running, and the one that I've got is in this OneNote guide, and I've got a hardware section. I'm basically always going to want to send it to the same location, and I'm going to want to send it to the selected location. Now by doing that, what it's done is it's allowed me to bring it into this area, and from this point on I can now look at resizing things down. I can move my my window, and at this point I'm probably going to look at resizing things. Okay, so probably take that picture, resize things down, don't need to take up that much room, and I probably want to find a little bit of information about a CD-ROM at this stage. So I'm just going to flick back onto the web, and rather than looking for images regarding a CD-web, I'm going to be looking for, say, at a Wikipedia site, or probably more importantly some more reputable sites than Wikipedia. Okay, so Wikipedia is quite a good one. And this can give me some ideas about what these types of hardware devices are about. So I might find some information that I'm not wanting to write into my own words at this stage. I'm just wanting to do some quick research. So I might think, hey look, this looks really good. I'm going to take all that information here, I'm just going to copy and paste it over into OneNote, click anywhere on the page here, paste it in. I can strip out the formatting if I wanted to. I can keep only the text, or I could decide to keep all the hyperlinks and references in there. At this stage I'm just going to make the formatting all the same, and then I could group those together. I could put on a little heading saying CD-ROM, and then I could resize this particular window so it fits the way I'd like. Now obviously under this hardware page I could look at adding some additional pages, so under those basic tabs here I could then say let's add some additional pages, so I could add in pages for the next hardware issue that I'm concerned about or wanting to deal with, and that way we could have all of our IT subject stuff organised under a single page. So for instance we could have our first topic on hardware with 100 pages under here relating to our coursework, and then for our next topic on design we could start a whole new section, give it a nice name, and then again have a whole different bunch of pages relating to design, showing some good examples of good and poor design. So that's one example of being able to, I guess, nicely organise information into a single document. Some of the other interesting things that we can do is if we do have a bunch of different text, and I'm wanting to have another box over here, a couple of nice little shortcuts that we can try and do is that sometimes we want to merge or join boxes together. So I've got a box here, when I move it, simply moves those two independent boxes around. If however when I move it I push the shift key, what it will want to do is join those two bits of text together. So it's now got all of that stuff into a single box. Some other things that we can probably look at doing is we can look at drawing onto our pages, and we can draw up our page and do some handwritten notes. We can draw individual shapes. We can erase some of those things out there which might be a problem. Putting in different ideas to insert any files that we might think is quite useful. Obviously you can record some audio if you're wanting to put some notes in there so you can remember it at night time. Tables are relatively simple, so when I'm wanting to put in a table here I can simply say I want to put a table in, and then by pushing the tab key on our keyboard it will want to organise this into a table. Okay, and push the tab key again, and things keep coming across. Push the enter key and it will simply keep adding to these. Okay, so simple way of having cells, same principle that we had before. I'm going to push the shift key and it will allow me to join a bunch of different texts together. Okay, so in this situation I'm just going to move that up and try and join that in there, and you can see that that's text is now joined into that particular cell. Okay, so a couple of quick techniques or ideas for putting some of these things together. Obviously you can format things. You can use this to say, oh look, we went through an important part, I've got some questions regarding this, so you can use some of the key little symbols to try and indicate that you're a bit unsure about a particular thing. So you might be that I'm a little bit unsure on that hardware topic to do with CD-ROMs, I'd like Mr. Devitt or your teacher to talk about that. You can think about, oh, this is a really important picture, I want to make sure I use that. You can tag things up, add to-do lists and so forth, and there's a whole other bunch of ideas which you can say, hey look, it's critical that I put this idea into my assessment or assignment in order to get the achieved merit or excellence grades. And one of the good things about doing that with those tags is that you can actually then search on those. So you can basically say, hey look, I want to find all the critical points or all the important points or any questions that I might have throughout this whole topic. Now, you might not have this particular program at home, but that doesn't stop you from making use of it at school. Then you can look at emailing pages, you can make them into PDFs and send them home to yourself, and there's very good integration with other products across the Microsoft suite. So hopefully that's given you a bit of an idea of how you can use Microsoft OneNote. This tutorial is obviously able to be taken home and viewed at your viewing pleasure. Hopefully it's been helpful to you.